The next morning, Whitmore Mansion was transformed into a crime-scene-turn-command-center. Federal agents, museum officials, and international investigators crowded the hallways, their conversations buzzing like electric wires. Zara stood near the staircase, hugging her notebook to her chest. She wasn't scared, just ready. Ready in ways even she didn't understand. Yet, FBI Special Agent Sarah Thompson arrived. With a folder thick enough to crush doubts, "We've cross-checked Sarah's observations," she announced. "Her analysis connects to at least 40 suspicious paintings sold across Europe and the us gasps echoed. 40 paintings. Hundreds of millions in fraud. We believe this could be the largest art forgery ring in modern history." Dr. Whitmore looked at Zara with a mixture of fear and pride. "You started this," she whispered, "and now you're the only one who can help finish it." The villain, RRIVS. Moments later, the doors swung open with theatrical arrogance. Antoine Dubois, the French dealer who had sold the fake Monet, strutted inside wearing an expensive suit and an ego big enough to fill the gallery. His lawyers followed like shadows. "This accusation is absurd," he declared. "I have been a respected art dealer for 30 years. Then he noticed Zara, a child. "This is your expert." He laughed loudly, mockingly, cruelly. "This is a waste of my very valuable time." Zara looked at him steadily. She recognized something behind his expensive, polished exterior: fear, the confession. He didn't realize he emid. Agent Thompson began questioning him. Dubois lied smoothly, confidently, like someone who had spent years rehearsing deceit. But then, he made one fatal mistake. He switched to rapid French, assuming nobody in the room could understand. "These stupid Americans know nothing," he scoffed to his assistant. "And the little black girl, she certainly doesn't speak real French." Zara's jaw tightened, but she stayed silent. Dubois kept going, revealing names, methods, storage locations in Milan, techniques used to artificially age the paintings, even mocking the Louvre for never detecting his fakes. Every word was recorded. Every detail was damning. Every sentence was a shovel digging his own grave. Zara slowly stepped forward. "Mr. Dubois," she said in perfect aristocratic French, "I understood every word you just said." The room froze. Dubois turned pale as marble. She repeated his incriminating statements in his exact tone, his exact phrasing. Then she switched to Italian and exposed his Italian network. Then Spanish, explaining forger connections in Barcelona. Then German, decoding hidden catalog references. By the time she finished, Dubois was shaking. His lawyers had their heads in their hands. He whispered, horrified. "You destroyed everything." "No," Zara said softly. "Your arrogance destroyed you. I just listened." Within minutes, the FBI raided locations in 3 countries simultaneously, using information Zara had revealed. Dubois was handcuffed, dragged out of the mansion, shouting in panic. Zara watched quietly, not triumphant, not vengeful, just steady, just strong. The world finally sees HR. The next morning, the mansion burst with reporters. News vans lined the street. Cameras flashed like lightning. The same gallery where Zara had once been humiliated now held a podium with the Whitmore crest. Dr. Whitmore stepped up first. "Ladies and gentlemen, the forgery ring was exposed because of one extraordinary mind. A 12-year-old child." She gestured to Zara. Double quotes, "Miss Zara Williams, consulting authentication specialist." The crowd erupted. Cameras clicked in rapid fire. "Zara, how many languages do you speak? Zara, how did you learn art history? Zara, did anyone help you? Zara, how did you first notice the forgery?" She answered every question with calm clarity. She spoke French to French journalists, Italian to Italian, media. Spanish to South American reporters. German to European networks. Each time, the crowd gasped that this wasn't just talent, it was brilliance. Videos of her went viral within hours, clips of her exposing. Dubois spread worldwide. Talent has no uniform. Trended globally. For the first time in her life, people looked at Zara and actually saw her. The woman who insulted her reached to her Enestin through the crowd. A trembling voice spoke. "I need to say something." Mrs. Victoria Petton stepped forward. The same woman who had screamed at Zara, the same woman who had called her a little black brat. But now, her voice was small. Her hands shook. Her eyes were wet with shame. "I was wrong," she said, her voice cracking. "I judged you unfairly. I treated you with cruelty. I am deeply, deeply sorry." The world watched. Cameras zoomed in. Zara took a breath. She could have destroyed the woman, embarrassed her, humiliated her. But Zara wasn't built from anger. She was built from wisdom. "Mrs. Petton," she said gently, "I accept your apology, but instead of apologizing to me, please help children who never get a chance to learn." A gasp rippled, though the room. Mrs. Petton nodded through tears. "I will, I promise." The offer that changes everything. After the conference, the Whitmore board held an emergency meeting. Most expected them to dismiss Zara politely. To thank her and move on. But Dr. Whitmore stood firmly. If we don't nurture this brilliance, she said, we fail as an institution. Despite heavy resistance, the vote passed. 7 in favor, 5 against. Zara was officially granted full educational sponsorship, private tutoring, a permanent consulting role, access to the entire museum archive, a professional ID badge with her name, Zara Williams, authentication, SBCIA, LIST. When Dr. Whitmore handed her the brass library key, Zara's hands trembled. This isn't just a key, Dr. Whitmore said softly, it's access to the world you belong in. And Zara cried, truly cried, for the first time in years. The moment that matters, MOSD. Zara raced down the hall to the servants' quarters. Mom, she yelled breathlessly, but Marie looked up from folding laundry. When Zara placed the key in her palm, Marie's knees nearly buckled. You did it, baby, she whispered, tears streaming down her tired cheeks. You did what I never could. No, Zara said, hugging her tightly, we did this. Together. That night, the entire staff gathered to celebrate. People from every floor, cooks, gardeners, guards, cleaners, people who had been invisible most of their lives, and Zara saw something beautiful, hope, pride, possibility. James, the night guard, raised a cup. You showed us we matter, he said. That brilliance lives everywhere. The world changes. Because of HR months past, the forgery ring was destroyed. Over $200 million in fake art recovered. Museums across the world changed hiring processes. Scholarships were created in Zara's name. Kids from poor communities were given access to books, classes, and mentors. Zara enrolled in a special accelerated program, the youngest student to ever do so. She wrote a book, she lectured, she mentored, but most importantly, every Saturday, she returned home to teach children like her, kids who were invisible to the world, kids who needed someone to see them. The final message. One evening, as golden sunlight filled the gallery, Zara sat at her desk, surrounded by books in 7 languages. She looked at her mother's photo, at her badge. At the library key. She recorded a message for the world. Look around you, she said softly. You walk past geniuses every day. The janitor, who writes poetry. The waitress studying medicine. The kid everyone ignores. Brilliance does not need permission, it just needs recognition. She closed the book gently. Because her story, a story born from pain, passion, and unstoppable courage, had become something bigger than her. It had become a movement, a reminder, a truth. Invisible people aren't truly invisible, they're just waiting for someone to see them. What is this little black brat doing near my precious painting? Get her filthy hands away from it right now. Mrs. Victoria Petton's poisonous voice sliced through the elegant silence of the Whitmore Mansion gallery. The harsh clap of her jeweled hands echoed against marble floors, making guests flinch and glasses tremble on silver trays. 12-year-old Zara Williams, dressed in her mother's hand-stitched navy dress, did not move. Around her, wealthy guests stared with disgust, curiosity, or indifference, anything except humanity. Crystal chandeliers poured soft gold over their shocked expressions, as though even the light wanted distance from the ugly moment unfolding. Zara's mother, Marie Williams, rushed forward, her simple black housekeeper uniform fluttering. Her hands trembled as she bowed repeatedly. Please forgive us, Mrs. Patton. Zara, move away immediately. But Zara's gaze stayed locked on the painting, a supposed $12 million, Monet, shimmering under gallery lights. Her dark eyes didn't waver. She didn't care about the insults, the humiliation, or the dozens of eyes stabbing her like needles. She only cared about the painting. A single breath, then she spoke, imperfect, aristocratic French. That painting is fake. The gallery erupted. Gasps swallowed the room. People stepped back as if the child had set off an alarm. A maid's daughter, a poor girl, a little black child, speaking flawless French and accusing a world-famous masterpiece of being counterfeit. The humiliation on Mrs. Patton's face morphed into outrage. Don't be ridiculous. A servant's child can't possibly. But her voice died as Dr. Catherine Whitmore, mansion owner and respected art expert, pushed through the crowd. She knelt gracefully in front of Zara, her eyes curious, sharp, intrigued. Could you repeat what you just said, little one? Zara swallowed but didn't break. Switching to French again, she repeated her statement with the calm precision of a scholar, and then she explained brushwork inconsistencies, synthetic binders from the 1950s, signature placement errors, machine-prepared canvas. Every word struck the room like a thunderclap. Guests stared at the girl who spoke like a professor. Marie cried quietly, terrified of consequences. Mrs. Patton trembled with rage. And Dr. Whitmore, she stared as if witnessing the discovery of a lost star. Where did you learn these things? Her voice was almost a whisper. I've been reading the books in your library since I was a baby, Zara said softly. I taught myself French and Italian so I could read the originals. That moment changed everything. The child among giants. 2 hours later, the mansion's private library glowed under warm lamplight. Zara sat in front of a towering desk stacked with art history books bigger than her backpack. "Show me what you know," Dr. Whitmore requested. Zara flipped open a book, speaking fluent Italian, then Spanish, then German. Every explanation she gave held technical detail, emotional understanding, and historical precision far beyond her age. Dr. Whitmore kept blinking, stunned. "This was not luck. This was brilliance. Your Degas catalog is wrong by 3 years," Zara added quietly, pointing to a framed description on the wall. Dr. Whitmore froze. She knew that label was inaccurate, but none of her staff had noticed, except this child. Hours passed as Zara dismantled every assumption the art world blindly trusted. Her knowledge wasn't memorized. It was lived, felt, absorbed. She was an untrained expert, self-made through stolen minutes in her mother's break hours. And all those years, no one had seen her. The invisible genius. Zara told her story slowly, almost apologetically. She had grown up between two worlds, one world filled with rare art, priceless books, and wealthy guests, and the other filled with secondhand clothes, unpaid bills, and her mother's tired smile. "I always stayed quiet when guests came," Zara whispered. "People don't see kids like me." Marie, sitting in the corner, wiped tears with shaking hands. "I tried to give her everything I could. But the world." Zara placed a gentle hand on her mother's arm. "Mama gave me everything I needed. Access, books, silence, time, encouragement, what the world denied her. She built for herself. She taught herself languages, using cheap earbuds and free app trials. She memorized painting techniques while dusting frames behind her mother. She read through hundreds of pages every night while Marie ironed uniforms beside her. Talent like that didn't grow by accident. It was forged through hunger, deprivation, and unstoppable passion. The examination that changed fate. The next morning, the priceless Monet sat under conservation lab lights. Zara stood beside Dr. Whitmore, wearing latex gloves that looked too big for her small hands. "Examine it like a forensic scientist," Dr. Whitmore instructed. For 2 hours, Zara documented everything like a professional. Hesitation marks, incorrect pigments, modern aging patterns, anachronistic canvas, textures. Every note she wrote sounded like a graduate thesis. When Dr. Whitmore challenged her, Zara produced photo evidence from her battered phone, evidence she had collected secretly over months. 47 authenticated Monets, she explained. None signed bottom right. Dr. Whitmore's heart pounded. This wasn't a guess. This wasn't a guess. This was a child being clever. This was mastery. The experts arrived, and doubt her immediately. Following day, the Metropolitan Museum's authentication team arrived at prestigious, intimidating, armed with equipment worth more than Zara's entire neighborhood. But when they saw her, they dismissed her instantly. "She's just a child. What credentials does she have? This is ridiculous." They questioned everything except their own bias. But Zara didn't argue. Instead, she spoke in perfect Italian, then perfect French, then scholarly German. The room went silent. Even then, the lead expert scoffed. Languages don't make you an authenticator. But Zara's mind did, and when the scientific tests began, one after another, every result proved Zara right. The canvas, the pigments, the signature, the layering, all fake, all exactly where Zara had said. Dr. Whitmore looked at the girl and whispered, "You just saved us millions," and exposed something much bigger. The first spark of a global storm. By evening, the museum experts were murmuring one word: forger. Network. International. Zara single quotes as pattern recognition had spotted things even seasoned professionals missed. And the world was about to shake because of it. But right now, right here, Dr. Whitmore knelt in front of her and said, "Zara, you are extraordinary." A sentence Zara had waited her whole life to hear. A sentence nobody had ever thought she deserved.